Here we have Carl. We are catching him just as he's finishing up his latest pallet project.
Hey man, stop that. At least let me tell them from the beginning. Early spring, I was on a cabin trip with some friends. As most men, the whole weekend I only managed to take one video and 2 pictures. One of all the snacks, because priorities, and the other of some artwork that was the inspiration for these pallet builds. I thought to myself, I want to make something like that. And with the Will It Sell pallet challenge bouncing around in my head, I knew it was time to dive in. So I picked a design, laid down my first stencil, traced it and got to work cutting it with my trusty jigsaw. It might not be the prettiest or the newest model, but we work with what we got. This first wall decoration was probably the easiest of the 3 to build. No real hiccups or problems. After I glued all the pieces to my base plate and let it dry, I squared off the sides with the table saw, making sure everything was straight. And for the frame, I split the pallet runners and mitered each corner to give it a nice trim around the edges, using a brad nailer to fasten the pieces. As you probably guessed, I didn't want to spend much money on this project, so for hanging the wall decorations, I went with a French cleat system made from scraps. I had this plywood lying around from a previous project, so it felt kind of free. Now here's the funny part. My kids took one look at my creation and said, "Dad, are you making a turtle?" And now I can't unsee that turtle. What do you think? Well, after that, I figured I better make something that is a little bit more obvious in its design. So I went back to the pallet, started disassembling the rest of it and stepped on a nail. That hurt like a son of a gun. But hey, my tetanus shots are up to date, so we're probably good, I hope. The show must go on, and let's be honest, what's a DIY project without a little bloodshed? I made quick work of the rest of the pallet by channeling the pain into beating it apart. At least it made me feel a little bit better. Then we moved on to the second design. For this build I went with a silhouette of a mounted deer head. This is a similar design to the original inspiration, but still not the same. Like they say, steal like an artist. The process for making these is actually pretty straightforward. Make your stencil, burn the wood to get a nice black finish, cut the wood with a jigsaw, glue it, sand it, frame it, and then slap on a coat of finish. Simple, right? But the last one turned out to be a bit of a challenge. I thought it would be the quickest and easiest to make because I was using scraps from the 2 before it, but nope, I was way off. Making all the pieces fit nicely, and with so many nooks and crannies in these pine tree silhouettes, it was like trying to solve a jigsaw puzzle with a jigsaw. I spent 5 to 10 minutes on each tree, multiply that by 20 and my hand is still jiggling from all that jigsawing. For some added detail and to give it a bit more life, I used the good old dish brush flick trick to create some stars. Then assembled everything together. Since I marked every piece with a number, this part went pretty smooth. I added the frame using what was left of the pallet runners. A quick top coat to seal the deal, and there you have it. Voila! 3 finished pieces ready to sell. Now for the big question, did they sell? Well, I'll be honest. I think I messed up with the marketplace I posted on, and I found pricing these pieces to be tricky. But feeling bold, I set the price at around $180 each, because you know, art. And 11 days later, I had a whopping total of 34 views and 2 saves, but still no sale. What do you think? Pricing issue, wrong marketplace, or the product?